Okay, so let us start. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the side event on harnessing administrative data for census, assessing readiness with SATRAC. My name is Afsana Yazdani, and I'm a statistician with ESCAP Statistics Division, and I have the pleasure of moderating this wonderful event today. Before we begin, let me go over a few housekeeping points. This session is being recorded and the video will be made available on ESCAP website after the event, together with the PowerPoint slides. To minimize background noise, as you have already noticed, we have disabled the microphones and camera of all participants. However, we will open them during the Q&A discussion. And you are also very welcome to post your comments or questions in the chat box, and we will go to them during the Q&A. Okay, so let me stop here and invite Ms. Rachel Bevan, the Director of ESCAP Statistics Division, for her welcoming remarks. Rachel, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Afsane. So let me also give you a really warm welcome to everyone joining us from across the globe. And I can see already it literally is from across the globe with so many different countries represented. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm based here in Bangkok, so it is evening time here, but it really is my pleasure to be able to welcome you all to this side event of the United Nations Statistical Commission, and it's called Harnessing Administrative Data for Censuses, Assessing Readiness with the new Self-Assessment Tool for Readiness to Use Administrative Data for Censuses. And for short, which I'm quite glad we have got an acronym on this one because it is a very long title, SATRAC. But your participation today really does reflect that global commitment to strengthening and modernising census methodologies. And as we approach the 2030 round of population and housing censuses, the demand for timely, high quality and granular data is greater than ever. But censuses have always been the cornerstone of national statistical systems, providing essential data to inform policies that really do improve lives and also help us to meet regional and global commitments, including the SDGs. But traditional census methods really face a lot of growing challenges, as I'm sure we're all aware. Rising costs, declining response rates, unexpected disruptions like the COVID-19 pandemic, to name just a few. And these challenges have prompted countries to explore innovative approaches with an increasing interest in the use of administrative data. So recognizing this trend, the use of administrative data became a key focus in the recent revision of the principles and recommendations for population and housing censuses, which is going to be presented at the UN Statistics Commission this year, indeed the week after next. And these revisions provide updated guidance on incorporating administrative data into census processes. And to support this growing shift, back in April 2023, ESCAP developed a self-assessment tool for readiness to use administrative data for censuses. And the tool is really designed to assist countries in looking at how ready they are in terms of their current institutional and technical capacity to use administrative data for census purposes. So recognizing the complexities involved and the very unique context of each country, the tool doesn't aim to actually provide a readiness score. Instead, it really helps to highlight the key requirements and enables countries to be able to assess how their current capacities align with these requirements, and then to determine the necessary actions to enhance the use of administrative data in their censuses. And the tool has undergone extensive pilot testing through various workshops. Also, we had an online global consultation that recently concluded, and these efforts meant that we were able to get feedback from a really broad group of people across the statistical community, and we've been able to refine the tool based on the feedback we received. So I would like to really express my sincere appreciation as well. First of all, actually to Afsane, who has been leading on this work and the team with her, but also to all the experts from countries and also international organizations that contributed to the piloting and improvement of the tool and through these events and the global consultation as well. The list is too long for me to name everyone individually, but let me just pick on a few that I really want to extend my heartfelt gratitude, particularly to over 50 participating countries for all of your feedback. That really does make a difference and has helped to shape the tool. We've also had colleagues from Eurostat, the UN regional commissions, obviously the one here in Asia Pacific, but our other regional commissions in Africa, Europe, Latin America, and of course also ESCAP. But we've also had input from UN Statistical Institute for Asia and the Pacific, SEAP, also UNFPA, UN Statistics Division, and the World Bank, to name just a few of them. So thank you to all of those for all of your support, but also for helping us to really shape the tool and to make it what it is today. So today's event really marks the launch of this self-assessment tool, but we're honoured that we actually have panellists now joining us from across the globe. I believe we've got Indonesia, Italy, Qatar, Turkey, and ETRAC. And those have been obviously on the panel because they've all been involved in that consultation process. And this event really then provides that opportunity for us to be able to explore the tool's features, to hear insights from the panelists, and to learn from them how the tool's been helping to support countries in leveraging administrative data for census purposes. I'd encourage all of you to engage actively, share your perspectives, and contribute to the discussion. I know it's always a little bit difficult, isn't it, when we're online, but we do have that chat function, and many of you have been using it already. So please, I would ask you, do continue to use it. Put down your organisation, where you're from. Also, please do put down any questions, not just questions though as well, just any other feedback, any perspectives from what you might have experienced already from your different backgrounds. So please do use that chat function. And we want to continue to welcome suggestions from everyone to really help us as we continue to shape this tool in terms of its effectiveness and its usability, and how it will then help us all as a community to advance censuses. So thank you to everyone for being here today. I can see now we've got 114 people. Every time I look up, actually, I can see there's about another 10 people who have joined. So that's really fantastic. And I'm looking forward to hearing from the panelists, but also from more of the people who are listening in. So thank you to everyone. And let me pass back to you now, Afsane.
Thank you so much, Rachel, for kind and insightful remarks and also setting the stage for discussion today. I think that maybe I do not take much time of colleagues. At this meeting, Rachel already mentioned many points that we are going to cover. So first we start with a brief presentation on the self-assessment tool, and then we will have the panel discussion with our excellent panelists. And let me hand the floor to my colleague, Mariam. Mariam Demirci, whom many of you may already know, is a former interregional advisor of UNSC that is currently, we are so lucky that she is currently helping us with this project. That is great opportunity for us. So over to you, Mariam.
Thank you so much, Afsana. Hello, all colleagues. I'm having a problem. Just check with my presentations to upload, although I tried many times.
I can help you. No worries, Mariam.
Yeah,
please give me
Afsana.
a second.
I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
No
but
problem.
yeah.
Okay, oh, sorry. Let me try. Oh, and do you try again? Sorry, could you try again? Perfect. Okay, so Mariam, I think that you need to let us know when you want to move to the next slide, because with this one, we cannot take the control. Just let us know.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Sorry for this, the problem, although we tried. Okay, I'm Mariam Demirci. It's a great pleasure here to present this the assessment tool on behalf of ESCAP team. It's a pleasure for me really to work with the ESCAP team on this tool. So I'm sorry, first of all, for my voice. Last few days I got a cold. I hope you can hear me well. Okay, so can we move to the next slide? Next slide. Okay, I have a control, right?
No, I think that you cannot take the control currently.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Let me let me try to see. Today we had some problems with our SharePoint, so let me do it from my end. Okay, so Mariam, could you try to take the control?
Yeah, just a moment.
If not, just let me know. I can
yeah,
move forward. All right.
slide. Okay.
No problem.
Okay.
No problem. I move.
All right. Thank you. Okay, so let me first start with the objective. This self-assessment tool aims to assist countries in comprehensive self-assessment of their current institutional and technical capacity for utilizing administrative data for population housing censuses. So this tool can be used to identify the main areas of weaknesses, shortcomings, or areas that actually improve. So even we use this tool and update it periodically, we can also evaluate the progress made over time. And also this tool can help improving the communication between national statistics office and other administrative data holders by building the common ground, because they will use same information, same type of assessment for their own situation, and they can bring the more feasible or applicable actions for their own country. This tool also provides valuable information for developing or updating the roadmap for the transition towards the register-based approaches, emphasizing the priority activities and identifying also the potential problems. Next slide. Yes. So it took actually 2 years to develop the tool. It was started in 2023 in April, initial draft prepared by ESCAP, and then the 3 workshops were conducted last year and in 2023 to test this tool, its content, and whether it has the relevant questions to catch the existing conditions, existing situations. So these 3 workshops helped a lot to improve the tool. And finally, last year in December, we had an online global consultation. It started in December and they ended in January. So our objective was to reach wider statistical community and get feedback from the census experts from all over the world. Next slide. In briefly, because you will see that most of you, I know you have already completed, tested this tool, but for the colleagues that they haven't seen before, it has many questions actually, classified by the main the topics for the preconditions. So it has, sorry, one slide. Okay, it has 2 models. We have model for the National Statistics Office and another model developed for the administrative data holders. And this should be actually completed by all administrative data holders separately. And if one administrative data holder, they maintain more than one data sources, then they can also complete the two models to reflect all the data sources that they are maintaining, the information about the data that they are maintaining. So this self-assessment tool, includes a set of questions. So it's related to preconditions for the use of administrative data. All these preconditions actually outlined in the international guidelines, including principle and recommendation for population housing census revision 4, is still draft and is submitted to SATRAC Commission this year for the approval. And also another guideline that we use is the handbook on register-based census for censuses, and another guideline on the use of register and administrative data sources for populations housing censuses produced by the European region. And finally, there is a UNFPA e-learning courses that we benefited actually all of them. All of them actually, they are consistent in terms of defining the preconditions, but some of them have more recommendations on that specific condition. So we benefited from all of them. SATRAC also provides the standard statistical outputs. As few tables we have, and also the graphs, they are automatically generated by SATRAC. When you enter the information, you can get the tables about the responses and some statistical results. And also the SATRAC has instruction documents describing how it will be completed, who can complete this tool. Particularly, this instruction mentions that the NSO should lead the completion of the administrative data holders model. Yeah, next slide. Yes, so I just want to give a few results from the global consultation, just to give you a feedback that this is the really comments from all over the world. So we get over 50 responses from countries and international organizations, and mainly the comments or suggestions related to the administrative data holder models, National Statistical Office model, and instruction documents. And we also asked them their overall opinion, whether this is useful for their context or not. So we received, it is the 5-point rating scale. So you can see that most of colleagues, more than half of them actually give this as a highest rate to the tool. Then we are happy to see this result, this feedback. Next slide. Yeah, also based on the global results of the global consultation, I can just say you can see that in the bar graph, second graph, it shows the distribution of respondents by countries. So we have respondents actually from all over the world, from the different region. And this is also a reflection of that we have feedback from countries that have already experience on the use of administrative data sources for censuses. So that there are countries that they have conducted census for many years with the fully register-based census, and there are countries that they already started maybe using the administrative data for several decades. So this gave us really big opportunity to improve its content and to make it more relevant to the different countries that they may have a different in different the stages in this process. So we also all the comments recommendations is over 160 comments we received, and we finalize actually the tool based on this recommendation and suggestions. Next slide. Okay, this is the final list of the sections of the SATRAC, meaning that we have model, NSO model, which includes the 9 sections. Actually, this corresponds to the the components of the preconditions or requirements. So we have a number of questions for each section in the tool. So starting from the political support and legal framework, and we have question on availability, accessibility, administrative, and finally quality assessment and data confidentiality. Similarly, administrative data holder models also includes 5 sections. In each section, we have a number of questions, and how we get the response for the questions and the sections. We have multiple response categories for each question, including yes, no, partially, not yet assessed, and not appropriate, not the. So this is the way how we get the response. But actually, this is not the only things that we want really the countries use, but also provide a detailed information about the stage if they particularly select the partially, why it is partially, what parts of how this will be improved, that specific conditions, what are the main challenges to achieve that preconditions. Okay, next slide. Okay, and as I said before, we have also some standard outputs that this SATRAC produce automatically. But as Rachel also mentioned, actually SATRAC doesn't aim to produce overall readiness scores. This can mislead if we just use overall readiness scores. The main aim, of course, is that the SATRAC presents the all key requirements. And the objective is that to see what extent the countries meet with these requirements and their current capacity aligned with these requirements. And the main results will be used to identify areas that needs to be improved. And the SATRAC produced 2 graphs. I will give example now for these 2 graphs. One is the radar graphs, how we call it. This combined all the results of each sections. For example, I gave the example of National Statistical Office model. So you can see the average score for calculated for each section. So this graph particularly emphasized, but it's hypothetical data. It doesn't reflect any real data. So it shows that the public support and the transparency, this is actually not achieved, not have a relatively good scores compared to the other. But this doesn't mean really that the public doesn't support this idea. But it means actually that they haven't started the assessing this component. So our really message here is that yes, the average score by section give you an idea of the level of achievements in the specific preconditions on the specific sections, but all the information about why this has not achieved or why is this partially, all are important for making realistic assessment for the specific country. And we have another graph which shows the percentage of the all response categories. Okay, next slide, yes, the last slide is we have a few remarks to take your attention. So as we all know, the self-assessment is necessary for all countries planning to change the census methodology, particularly if they're expecting big changes by the transferring to the register-based approaches from the traditional census. Therefore, it's really necessary to have self-assessment, their own assessment, well advanced to also prepare the realistic roadmap. And we actually talk about that this is this assessment tool that can help countries to better understand the preconditions. So when I say the preconditions, you may have a different opinion, or maybe not the areas may not be considered. So you will see that SATRAC will provide you the list of all the preconditions for each component. And this tool will help you to the stranded communication between the NSO and the administrative data sources by building common ground. And also this, when this conducted periodically, we are suggesting maybe 6 months to evaluate the periodically when it is completed and updated, then it can be used to analyze the progress made and the main areas that needs the progress. And finally, the SATRAC, we are suggesting SATRAC results should be used internally by countries to analyze their own the national capacity. It shouldn't be used international ranking or cross-country comparison. As I explained before with the example, this may not give you a really right assessment. Thank you so much. This is all I want to say about the brief information about the SATRAC. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mariam. We already have some questions in the chat. I was trying to address them, but maybe you can take care of the questions. And we now move to our next exciting part of this event, which is our panel discussion with an excellent panel speakers from different countries who accepted to kindly assist us with this discussion and also share their country experiences as well. We have, let me just stop sharing so I can ask the dear speakers to open their cameras if they have not already. So we have Ms. Alfina Fasriani, statistician from Population and Labor Statistics Directorate, BPS Statistics Indonesia. We have Mr. Gerardo Gallo, Head of Permanent Population Census Division from Italian National Institute of Statistics. We have Mr. Nasser Salahet Al-Mahdi, consultant from National Statistics Center, National Planning Council of State of Qatar. We have Mr. Mehmet Shaaban Uchari, Head of Population and Migration Statistics Group from Demographic Statistics Department, Turkish Statistical Institute, Turkstat. And we also have Ms. Fabiana Del Popolo, Chief of Demography and Population Information Area at Population Division of ECLAC, Economic Commission for Latin America and Caribbean. So thank you very much, and to all our panel speakers for being here with us. We will have 2 rounds of panel questions for each of these panelists. And the first question that is about why is it important for countries to assess their own institutional and technical capacity for using administrative data for census purposes? What are key factors or conditions that should be considered when a country wants to shift from a traditional census to an approach based on administrative data source? We first start with Alfina from Indonesia. You have the floor to share your insights on this question with us. Over to you, Alfina.
Yeah, thank you, Afsane. Great question. So let me give my response for the context of Indonesia. So Indonesia has utilized administrative data starting from the 2020 population census. So it was combined method census. We have a centralized population register and civil registration system, both managed by Ministry of Home Affairs. So it covers approximately 97% of the population. However, birth and deaths are not always registered immediately. But registration, for example, can take up to 5 years to reach optimal completeness. And then death registration also faces delay, and for the death registration is even more complex than birth registration. So we need to find a way to make sure these vital events are captured accurately and promptly. So that's why we need to evaluating this area. So it could help to speed up and improve the process over the time. There is another important reason why we need to assess our institutional capacity. So the data from MOHA, while comprehensive in some way, doesn't cover all the topics that recommended by the United Nations for census. So things about information like disabilities, ethnicity, language, income, housing. So all these are crucial for understanding of the population. So right now in Indonesia, administrative data is scattered from diverse agency and system. So it needs to be standardized and integrated before it can be truly useful. So we need to know what admin data holders have and how to communicate the potential their data for the statistical purpose. So there's another big concern that Indonesia needs to be addressed. People need to know their information, personal information is safe and secure. So with over 280 million people in Indonesia, data privacy is a huge deal. We need to be transparent about how we use the data and make sure it's protected. So for Indonesia, what next? What is the capacity that needs to be assessed and implemented, while also being a key factor for the next census, 2030 census? So three things must happen. The first is improving admin data quality. And then the second is how to standardize and then integrated admin data. And the third, from Indonesia context, ensuring strong privacy protections. So these three things, yeah, the most priority in Indonesia that will be determined whether we are ready to shift to fully register-based census or continue with the combined approach. I hope that provides some insight based on the experience that we have in Indonesia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alpina. And you already mentioned many of the components that are covered in SATRAC as well. Thank you so much. So our next panelist that I would like to invite is Gerardo Gallo from Italy. So the floor is yours, Gerardo.
Thank you very much, Fasen. Well, in the Italian experience, when an NSCO, National Statistical Office, moved from traditional census to one statistical system focused on administrative data, usually it's required a modernization process that has a significant impact in terms of investments in information technology infrastructures and a lot of change in methodology approach, data collection procedures, which should be adapted to the new process of producing population statistics. In Italy, we adopted a matrix production model, we moved from a pillar system to another system which is developed horizontally. This involved the needs to continually negotiate with other departments or divisions of institute, and there was not always perfect synchronicity and the same speed of execution between data collection, methodological services, IT support, and so on. These represent really a challenge. Another issue is if is available or not a centralized population register in National Statistical Office. So the point is whether it's necessary to collect administrative data sources to build a prototype of a population register or to use administrative sources to assess the coverage of the population register. In Italy, for instance, we use other administrative sources to correct, to assess the coverage of population register. So from this perspective, a crucial point is represented by a careful analysis of the coverage and of the quality of administrative sources collected. In any case, the National Statistical Office should have a specialized team that handles with the integration of administrative data and the pseudonymization process to protect individual privacy during statistical processing by using, for instance, a unique identifier. This is another milestone when we assess, when we work, when we integrate administrative data. The specialized team also should have the capability to manage standard approach for adequate matching procedures with the aim of producing high quality integration between administrative data. So I think these are the main factor to take into account when we move from a traditional census to a register-based census. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Gerardo, for sharing the experience from Italy. That's great. And yeah, the challenges are somehow common, but maybe each country should look into the solutions in their own country context. Thank you so much. Now let us move to our next speaker, which is Nasser from Qatar. The floor is yours, Nasser.
Thank you. Thank you. The first question about the main reasons for assessing the capacity for using administrative data for census. I have 4 main points. The first one, data quality and accuracy. Assessing capacity ensures that the data used for census purposes meet the necessary standard for accuracy and reliability. Second one, technical infrastructure. Assessing technical capacity help identify gaps that need to be addressed. The third point, human resources. Skilled personnel are essential for managing and analyzing administrative data. The fourth point, interagency collaboration. Assessing essential capacity can help identify buyers, effective collaboration, and ways to overcome them. From our experience, for the second point, key factors for transitioning to administrative data sources, I have 6 points. The first one, data availability and coverage. We visit all the data sources in the country to ensure the comprehensiveness and the quality their data, as well as to work on standardizing the classifications and concepts used. Also, to ensure the data administrative covers the entire population and includes all necessary variables for census purpose. Second point, legal frame. 15 agreements were signed with the data sources to establish clear legal guidelines for the data sharing, accesses, and privacy protection, and to ensure continuity of data provision for the census. Third point, technical infrastructure. Coordination between IT teams was carried out of the ensure that the necessary infrastructure system and the programs were ready for automatic connection and data transfer. Fourth point, human resources. Staff are trained to manage and handle, log, manage, analyze, and the use of the administrative data. Fifth point, stakeholders engagement. Engage with all the relevant stakeholders, including other government agencies, to ensure cooperation and data sharing. The last point, pilot testing. We conduct a pilot testing to evaluate feasibility and effectiveness of using administrative data for census purpose. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nasser. A lot has gone in Qatar. Is it 15 agreements or 50 agreements? Anyway, even it is 15, it's a lot of work to
Yes.
collaborate and coordinate among
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. Now, I would like to give the floor to our next panel speakers, Mehmet from Turksat. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. According to UNSD survey result for 2020 census round, traditional census is still the most common census method globally with around 70%. While only 13% of countries conducted fully register-based census, there is an increasing interest in combined and register-based approaches. It's obvious that using administrative registers have some certain advantages, such as reducing cost and response burden, increasing timeliness and frequency. However, in order to fully benefit from the registers and ensure sustainable statistical production, there are some preconditions. First and foremost, statistical office needs to have a strong legal base for assessing and obtaining the relevant data. However, this condition alone is even not enough for some cases. So secondly, National Statistics Office has to have sound coordination and communication with data holders. Because of confidentiality details, institutional concerns, and overlapping national legislation, National Statistics Office should explain what, why, how, when data is needed to the data provider, ensure data security, and emphasize the importance of the data in terms of statistical purposes. Another key challenge in using registers is the control of process. In a traditional census or sampling survey, National Statistics Offices has fully control over the data collection process. Census topics and questionnaire are determined based on statistical concern and purposes. Moreover, National Statistics Offices has certain quality control mechanism for census process and census data. On the other hand, administrative registers are collected solely for administrative purposes. That's why National Statistics Offices has to develop a good communication strategy with data providers for ensuring the quality, coverage, completeness, relevance, and timeliness of the input data. In order to maximize the benefits from the relevant data, National Statistics Offices should fully comprehend the data content and coverage, its strong and weak sides, and data collection process. Registers provide continuous statistical production unlike traditional data collection methods. However, in return, registers need to be monitored continuously. National Statistics Office should have enough IT and statistical competency in data management and analysis. To sum up, these preconditions and challenges should be considered and addressed by National Statistics Offices before adopting a register-based approaches. Actions need to be taken accordingly beforehand because the financial and labor costs happen afterwards might be high and irreversible. Thank you very much.
We can't hear you, Afsane.
Oh, sorry. My apologies. I was just mentioning that it's as you mentioned, it's important to learn that only having a statistical law may not be enough, because each organization, they have their own law, and they may say that we cannot share the individual level data with you because we should make sure that it is private. So this is one of the challenges when we want to use the admin data sources for censuses. Now let us move to our last speaker, but not the least for sure, Fabiana. Please share with us on behalf of ECLA countries and also from your experience. Please reflect on this question.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, good evening, and thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here. Well, I don't want to repeat some issues, important issues, but just to highlight some points. In the experience of the 2020 census round in the countries of Latin America, well, we can see an increased use of administrative records at every stage. For example, in Argentina, Brazil, Chile, and Uruguay stood out in the cartographic update process and pre-census activities. During the census fieldwork, innovation were introduced to use administrative records for data collection in collective dwellings or for identifying international migration. Some countries use electricity consumption record to monitor and control housing coverage and to specify the occupation status of the dwellings. And in Chile, for example, a residence registry from the Ministry of Social Development and Family was employed to oversee population coverage. Also, in the post-censal phase, beyond the traditional use, there have been innovation involving administrative records to correct errors in variables such as age and sex, filling missing information for enumerated person by added omitted individuals, particularly children, and adjust the occupancy status of dwellings. However, this use has not always been planned in advance. Rather, it has often served as a response to mitigate issues encountered during this round. Therefore, although the transition to register-based censuses should be considered from a long-term perspective in our region, it is crucial to plan early for their use as key inputs for the 2030 census round, assessing and improving their quality and to make timely progress in developing population statistical registers in order to pave the way for register-based censuses. We know that we need to review and adapt legal framework. In particular, it is crucial to strengthen the governing role of national statistical offices to engage the use of administrative records, and we need a political and stakeholder support. And here in particular, in our region, we have made significant progress in incorporating key census topics of interest, such as gender, mobility, and migration, ethnicity, disability, among others, as well as in democratizing information, for example, by facilitating access to microdata. Therefore, given that the transition will take time, ongoing exchange with users is essential to evaluate what we gain and what we can lose and look for solution, of course. And finally, building capacities to address the legal, institutional, and technical challenge for transitioning to record-based censuses requires the support of international cooperation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Fabiana. Yeah, it's a good point that you made, that the admin data should not necessarily be used for conducting a register-based census, and it can be used in many different ways. And it is really important to plan early, not just when we face an issue and we just need to find something. Then this can also be tricky when we want to do it. It's better that we try to get prepared much in advance. Okay, so now thank you so much, speakers, for the first round of the questions and sharing the country and regional examples and experiences. Now we want to move to the second round of questions, which is the related to SATRAC, which is designed to support countries in evaluating their readiness for adopting register-based census approaches. If you could share with us that how do you see the value of this tool in helping the countries, and do you think that it can also help with enhancing collaboration among the NSO and administrative data holders? We have a colleague who is suggesting we use another word instead of admin data holder, something else. We can think about it later and together also. And do you think it can help with enhancing the collaboration and also fostering a better understanding of data sharing needs? So this time I would like to go in a reverse order. So I would like to invite Fabiana first to share your thoughts on this question.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Thank you very much. Okay, well, really, we consider that SATRAC is a very useful and well-developed tool that addresses the very important issues of the use of administrative records to support population and housing census processes. Really, the self-assessment can be very useful for those countries interested in strengthening the use of administrative records in their censuses. Our region is, of course, a region very heterogeneous, but in general, all national statistical offices face significant technical and institutional challenge in integrated administrative register, including limiting access to data, lack of standardization, data quality concerns, and insufficient expertise and infrastructure, especially considering the record integration demand continues technological updating and diligent attention to security and privacy matters. In this sense, this tool includes all these matters. So not only provides valuable information that extend beyond the development of a record-based censuses, but it also offers the essential component for conceptualizing a comprehensive statistical system grounded in administrative record. We appreciate that you have taken our observation into account in the last available version. In this regard, we consider it crucial to examine this instrument collectively with our counterparts, the national statistical officers in Latin America and the Caribbean, assessing whether any adjustment or adaptation are necessary to align it with the regional context. And to facilitate this process, we have an ideal forum in the Statistical Conference of the Americas, as you know, a subsidiary body of ECLAC. And of course, we endorse the innovative potential of this tool as a critical element in modernizing our statistical framework. Therefore, such a collaborative review will help refine the tool functionality, if necessary, of course, promote its successful integration, and support more effective evidence-based decision-making to adequately dimension the challenges that each country must face. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Fabiana, for kind feedback on this tool. Let me now invite Mehmet to share your thoughts.
Thank you. The international trends in statistical context in transforming statistical production to register-based and digitalize the data collection process. Most of countries try to harmonize and update their statistical system and infrastructure accordingly. In this process, planning, decision-making, and preparing are crucial for national statistic offices. Otherwise, sustainability and quality of statistical production would be jeopardized. In this regard, the self-assessment tool is valuable guiding tools for countries for assessing their strengths, weakness, and shortcomings for register-based census approach. It's very pleasing how the self-assessment tool has improved since April 2023. We really appreciate the ESCAP's long-standing efforts on subject. As Turkey, we found the tools would be very useful for countries planning to utilize registers. Countries may benefit from the tools in terms of understanding the capacity and their level of meeting the preconditions. Before taking necessary actions, the self-assessment tool will help national statistic offices developing a roadmap through showing the way in making to-do lists, arranging steps, and addressing potential risks. The two separate parts in the tools are unique in terms of this kind of assessment. While national statistic offices evaluate its own condition, administrative data holders can improve its statistical capacity, institutional arrangement, and data quality. In this way, the self-assessment tool will definitely contribute to communication and coordination level between national statistics offices and data provider. If the administrative data holders takes in consideration, the tool will enhance the statistical compliance and consistency of the relevant registers. For countries in the transition like Turkey, the self-assessment tool shows the rooms for improvement and enables monitoring the progress by national statistic offices. Especially the domains which often ignored or underrated in register-based approaches, such as public support, methodological methods, and quality assessment are highlighted in the tool. So in this way, countries will not just assess their capacity in terms of the data availability, confidentiality, and functionality, but also will make self-assessment for these emerging domains. The risk and technicalities of using registers change over time. For instance, 10 years ago, data privacy wasn't an issue for so many countries like today, or geographical information system and geocoded data wasn't significant as today. Therefore, evolving structure of the self-assessment tool is also very important. Updating the tool periodically will provide flexibility, contemporary planning, and dynamic responsiveness. There are various international guidelines, handbooks, and recommendations on using register and adopting a register-based approaches for census. Countries will, of course, continue to conduct their studies in accordance with these international reference documents and will try to follow global standards. But to what extent they are ready for meeting certain requirements, self-assessment tool will step in this at this stage. Although the self-assessment tool is a voluntary tool, we strongly recommend the countries to make use of it. That's how they can save time, labor, and cost. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mehmet, for sharing your thoughts and insights. And next, I move to Nasser.
Thank you. Value of SATRAC. SATRAC help countries assessing their readinesses for adopting register-based census approaches, identifying strengths and areas for improvement, provides a structured framework for evaluating various dimensions for capacity, including legal, technical, and human resources. SATRAC offers guidance and best practice based on the experiences of the other countries. It evaluates the existence of unique identifiers and provide insight into potential record linkage issues and how to address them. Enhancing collaboration, SATRAC provide structure based for dialogue, helping both parties understand each other's need and concerns. SATRAC help build trust between NSOs and data holders by addressing legal and ethical concerns. SATRAC, this is the last point, SATRAC can identify areas where collaboration can lead to mutual benefit, such as improved data quality and reduce duplication of efforts. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nasser. And now I move to Gerardo. We cannot hear you, Gerardo. You are not muted, but I cannot hear your voice.
Hello?
No. Yeah. Now it's working. Yeah. Oh, sorry,
Thank
you are
you.
mute. Oh, yeah. Okay, now.
Thank you. Thank you, Afsane. SATRAC is the result of a comparison based on the path of different experience of the countries. So it's very useful when countries approach to a register-based census, and it's a good tool not only for National Statistical Office, but even for administrative data holders to collaborate together towards a register-based population census. All steps and processes to be carried out are well defined in order to create the preconditions and to respond to requirements for both, for National Statistical Office and administrative data holders. In my opinion, everything is well defined, and all activities, specific activities to be taken into consideration are well declined in sequence also. So I think this work scheme should be followed by the countries with attention, because it comprehends a valid precautions that need to be followed, so that the access process toward the register-based approach can be achieved easily. Both statistical institutions and administrative data holders have the opportunity to obtain benefits, since through this condition outlined in SATRAC represent the conditions for increasing output and quality of administrative data are created at the same time. Let me say also that if we had in Italy an instrument like this type, everything would have been much simpler and faster. And consider also that even now we have relationship with administrative holders to improve some outputs, because some contents, for instance, inside the cadastre, the Italian cadastre, we have some doubts, and we continuously have feedback with the authority of cadastre to improve output, to better understand variables, contents inside the cadastre. So it's important to have continuously a relationship with administrative holders to improve in quality and outputs when we have to produce deliverable of the census. Thank you very much. It's a it should be recommended And in any case, it's a good work. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Carlo, for very kind feedback on this. And now, Alpina.
Yeah. First, thank you, Afsane, and Miriam, and also the team for your hard work in creating SATRAC, and yeah, for your continuous work to improve it. And yeah, I think my thought and my opinion about SATRAC is same with the other speaker, but I think it's not problem in repeating to emphasize that this tool is truly valuable. So yeah, I'm agreed that SATRAC is a helping country. It's a tool that helping country, including Indonesia. So and I see the question, each question is can be a roadmap. I think yeah, because it's like Gerardo said, it's sequence. So and making it clear which area that need more focus, attention, and improvement. So countries, especially Indonesia, can develop well-planned and customized strategy for our next census. And I agree that it's not help NSO, but the government as a whole to assess the readiness. So we can see the readiness indicators that can be monitored regularly. So Apsane followed the Indonesian story that we were really fired up, ambitious about going ahead with register-based census for our next census, but we haven't thought about the need for an assessment beforehand. So I completely agree again with Fabiana that mentioned early, plan early. So it's crucial to think ahead and prepare early to ensure everything is run smoothly, anticipating the challenges and setting clear direction to minimize risks, like Mehmet said. So yeah, I think in the future, the next tool is to about the risk management for the census. Yeah. So sorry to say to work keeps going for Afsan and the team, even after the SATRAC. Yeah. By the way, after reviewing the question from the SATRACs, it provides ideas and inspiration how to build strong team, setting the right structure as the presented from the topic or the section in the SATRAC. So we can establish political and support legal teams, quality assessment team, and so on. And then the inspiration that come up from the SATRACs that we can deliver the structure feedback for the admin data holders. So from there, we can help build mutual benefits from the SATRACs question. And from the SATRACs, I think our approach isn't ask the admin data holders to fill it directly or send the letter and please fill this form. But I think it could be challenging only send this to the admin data holders. So instead, we use it as a helpful tool and guide us with the conversation with admin data holders in the in-person meetings or discussions. So the last word, SATRAC is useful, absolutely, and it's a power tool, and Indonesia will definitely using it to support our census planning and implementation. So congratulations, Afsane and the team.
Thank you very much, Alpina. And thanks to all our panelists. We have a couple of questions in the chat, and we are a little bit behind our schedule, but maybe we can pick some of the questions, and I would invite colleagues, panel speakers, if you want to reflect on that. We have one question that how important it is to have a chief data officer or something similar within each administrative data authority to assist NSO with implementing this transition. So I don't know that if among the colleagues who were here, have you had this in your country, or what are your thoughts? If anyone would like to reflect on this, please feel free to open your microphone. I don't know if Gerardo, Mehmet, or Nasser or Alfina? Anyone would like to reflect on this question? Or Mariam, if you want to come in.
Okay. Probably it would be better to hear from Turkey or other countries, Italy, Indonesia, and Qatar. But to my opinion, yeah, to have the specific, I mean, chief or how how was the question? I'm trying to get the question.
Chief data
officer.
Yeah.
Within the administrative data holder, I will still keep the holder, but yeah, this might be changed. We may use different terminology. So it would help a lot to improve the communication with NSO, because assuming that they have a more knowledgeable on data management and also the importance of using the microdata, so we may get better support as a National Statistical Office if there are the professionals in the institute. They are really good on data management and maybe statistics. But we know that for census purpose, for population housing census purpose, we need many different type of administrative data sources. For population register, it might be possible, but maybe not for all registers, it would be possible to have such a chief data officers in each administrative data agency. So it would be really big help. But I think as a National Statistical Office, we may also target to have a core team within the administrative data holder, a team contact person that can, during the time, they can learn from each other, both sides, and maybe later on they may decide to have a chief data officer. That's my opinion, maybe.
Thank you, Mariam. And other colleagues, would you like to reflect on this? I see that, Gerardo, you have your microphone open. I don't know if you will. Yeah. Go ahead, Gerardo.
Okay. Thank you, Afsane. Well, what do you mean exactly with chief data? Because it's not so clear for me. Anyway, maybe you mean someone of National Statistical Office who is the custodian of data protection, something like that. Well, I think, well, in Italy we have the authority of privacy law. And this authority provide under a framework, legal framework, which are the opportunity to provide data to National Statistical Office by the holders, administrative holders to National Statistical Office, according to a specific procedure. This procedure consists in order to create in National Statistical Office all conditions for personal data or for handling personal data. So that means we have to construct algorithms on the basis to protect personal data. So nobody colleague of National Statistical Office managed by himself have opportunity to accede and to see personally the identifier, name, family name, fixal code, everything, but the algorithm works in automatic. Okay, so nobody of National Statistical Office have opportunity to access, to identify of personal data. Okay, the authority of privacy law have opportunity to verify this condition. So each personal data which is transferred from administrative holders to National Statistical Office should should follow a obligated procedure. And after that, it's possible to work on data with a unique identifier, which is a code. So it's important to handle data with all measure, all treatment which assure, which guarantee the privacy law. And this is very important because that means investment in platform of information technology which are able to handle this kind of procedures. And it's important also to engage human resource who are able to develop this algorithm. This is a challenge. This is a challenge.
Thank you very much, Gerardo. We have some more questions in the chat, but I'm afraid that we may not be able to address them in this session. And I see that some of them are already colleagues have taken and are replying. So I see also one colleague raised his or her hand. Would you mind? I don't know if it is a quick question, maybe you just ask your question. Otherwise, we may continue with the session. Hina? Oh, okay. So, all right. So let us share. Let us continue with our session. We already had the panel discussion. I would like to thank our dear panelists. It was really great to hear from your experiences. And also thank you so very much for all overwhelming positive feedback you provide to us. I myself am so much flattered with all of them. So I would like now to hand the floor to Rachel for the closing and also the launch of the tool. Rachel, over to you.
Thank you so much, Afsane, and a huge thank you to all the panelists, but also to all the participants for joining us today. I mean, I think what we've heard has really highlighted the opportunities, but also those challenges in terms of using administrative data for censuses. And sometimes it seems like a really attractive thing and this kind of magic bullet, but we do recognize it really does come with complexities that require a lot of careful consideration. So thank you to the panelists for kind of sharing some of those particular challenges and the way in which you were emphasizing as well things like issues of the coverage of the administrative data, data quality, privacy, the important role of unique identifiers, but then also we were hearing about some of those specific challenges around coordination. It still requires a lot of work to work across government. We also, I think, really heard a lot as well about the importance of context. You know, what works in one country might not necessarily work in another country. And we also heard about technical infrastructure and the importance of human resources as well. So I think we've heard, I guess, a lot as well, not just about, you know, making that full transition necessarily from a traditional census to a kind of full administrative census. But actually what we heard about today as well was about the different ways in which you can use administrative data, maybe to help to plan a census, to also quality check a census, augment it, provide additional information. But through all of that as well, we were hearing about this new tool and how the self-assessment tool can really help to identify perhaps areas one might want to work on within an NSO. But I think also as well, we heard, didn't we, about how it can also inspire countries to see what can be done. So a huge thank you to everyone and for all your sharing, for all the questions. We will attempt to kind of continue to answer all the questions, and also to say we are launching the tool now. So you can see the QR code. It will be available on our website as well. We'll make it as available as possible, but to say as well, we will also continue to see it as very much a kind of flexible tool that we will continue to update as well based on feedback. So thank you for that feedback today. And we look forward to continuing to work with many of you and to hear your feedback as we go forward. We recognize it's a challenging, but we also heard so much about the opportunities, but also about how we work on these things together. And that really can help us to build those stronger, more effective, but also more efficient statistical systems, and to really make a difference in terms of how we get the data used as well. So thank you to everyone and good night, good morning, good evening. Thanks everyone. Do please click on the tool. Thank you.
Thank you everyone. Thank you so much.